You're carrying something heavy, and it isn't yours to carry. Every sharp word someone threw at you, every moment you were disrespected and chose silence, every conversation you replayed long after it was already over. You're holding all of it like stones in your pockets, getting heavier with every step. And the worst part is this: you think this is just how life works, that some people are calm and some people aren't. That anger is in your DNA. That being bothered is the cost of caring. But here's what's really happening. You're not angry because the world is broken. You're angry because no one ever taught you how to be unbreakable. Think about yesterday. Someone said something that got under your skin. Maybe it was small, maybe it was serious. It doesn't matter. What matters is this: hours later they were living their life and you were still burning, still rehearsing comebacks in your head, still feeling that tight pressure in your chest. They moved on, you didn't. And that's the pattern, isn't it? Different faces, different words, same trap, same reaction. You tell yourself you'll stay calm next time, but next time looks exactly like last time. The names change, but the script stays the same. Here's what no one tells you. Your peace isn't something that gets stolen. It's something you give away, voluntarily, repeatedly, to people who don't deserve it and situations that don't matter. But what if I told you there's another way? 2,000 years ago, men who faced wars, betrayal, and collapsing empires discovered how to stay calm through all of it. Not by pretending, not by suppressing emotions, but by mastering something most people never even consider. 6 habits. Ancient, tested, powerful, not complicated, not mystical, just brutally effective at turning you into someone who cannot be shaken, not because life stops provoking you, but because you stop taking the bait. If you're ready to become unshakable, type "I refuse the bait" in the comments. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing nothing can steal your peace anymore. Someone tries to provoke you, and instead of that familiar surge of anger, you feel nothing but calm. You observe their behavior with curiosity instead of rage. Their words register as what they truly are, sounds in the air with no authority over your inner state. Picture yourself moving through your day with this solid inner foundation. Traffic doesn't bother you. Rude people don't derail your mood. Unexpected problems show up, and you handle them with clarity instead of chaos. You stop reacting and start governing yourself. This isn't fantasy. This is what happens when these habits become part of you. You become the person who enters tense situations and somehow makes them calmer just by being present. People start asking how you stay so composed. They wonder what your secret is. But the real transformation happens inside. You sleep better because you're no longer replaying conflicts in your mind. You have more energy because you're not wasting it on anger and resentment. Your relationships improve because you stop taking everything personally. You realize that most of what used to disturb you was never really about you in the first place. This is the after state. This is what the Stoics achieved, and this is exactly where these 6 habits will take you. The distance between where you are now and where you want to be isn't as wide as you think. You just need to build a bridge. So how do you move from constant irritation and inner chaos to true unshakability? The answer lies in 6 specific habits the Stoics practice daily. They aren't complicated. They don't require isolation or hours of meditation. What they demand is commitment and consistency. Each habit builds on the one before it, creating a foundation so solid it cannot be shaken. Think of them as layers of armor for your mind. The first protects you from external provocation. The second trains you to govern your reactions. By the time you reach the 6th, you've built an inner fortress untouched by chaos. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men of the ancient world, relied on these practices while ruling an empire, fighting wars, and facing betrayal. Epictetus, who began life as a slave, used them to find freedom without physical liberty. If they worked in those conditions, imagine what they can do for you. Let's build your bridge. Let's begin with the first habit, one that will fundamentally change how you experience provocation. The first habit is learning to see that nothing is inherently good. Good and bad events are neutral. What makes them painful or pleasant is entirely your judgment about them. This sounds simple, but it's revolutionary. Right now, when someone insults you, you experience that insult as an objective attack. It feels like a punch was thrown and you were hit. But here's the truth that sets you free. Words are just sounds, actions are just movements. The person who cut you off in traffic didn't ruin your morning. Your interpretation of their action ruined your morning. Epictetus said it perfectly. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. Every moment of anger you've ever felt came from a judgment that something shouldn't have happened. Someone shouldn't have said that. The situation shouldn't be this way. You argue with reality, and reality always wins. What if you stopped arguing? What if instead of instantly labeling every inconvenience as bad, you paused and recognized it as just an event with no built-in emotional charge? Here's how you practice this. The next time something bothers you, catch yourself before the anger fully forms. Ask, what story am I telling myself about this situation? You'll notice you've added layers of interpretation. Someone cuts you off and you decide they're disrespectful. A coworker speaks briefly and you decide they don't like you. But you don't actually know any of that. You're guessing, and those guesses are creating your suffering. Practice responding to provocations with curiosity instead of judgment. When someone does something that would normally anger you, think, that's interesting, I wonder why they did that. This small shift creates a massive space between the event and your reaction. Inside that space, you reclaim your power. Master this habit, and you've already reduced your anger dramatically. The world hasn't changed, but your relationship with it has. The second habit is inserting a pause between stimulus and response. This is where real self-control is built. Most people live on autopilot. Something happens and they react instantly. A comment is made and words come out before thought even arrives. That's pure instinct, like an animal responding to a threat. But you're not an animal. You have the ability to choose. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. That power lives in the pause, the space between what happens to you and what you choose to do about it. In that brief moment, you can ask yourself, will reacting in anger serve me? Will it solve anything? Will I respect this response tomorrow? Almost always, the answer is no. But without the pause, you never get to ask. Think of anger like a wave. When something triggers you, the wave starts rising. Most people ride it all the way to the crash and regret what they said or did. But you can learn to see the wave forming and choose not to ride it. You let it rise, then fall, without stepping onto it. Practice this deliberately. When you feel anger building, physically pause. Take 3 deep breaths before responding. Count to 10. Step away for 5 minutes if needed. It may feel awkward at first, but that discomfort is a small price for freedom. You'll discover that most provocations lose their power with time. What felt insulting 5 minutes ago now seems insignificant. What felt urgent now looks manageable. The pause doesn't just prevent bad reactions. It often reveals that no reaction is needed at all. This habit shifts you from reactive to responsive, and that shift changes everything. The third habit is ruthlessly separating what you can control from what you cannot. This is one of the most fundamental Stoic practices, and it's essential for becoming unshakable. Here's the hard truth. You can't control other people. You can't control circumstances. You can't change the past or guarantee the future. You can't even control your emotions most of the time. What can you control? Your choices, your effort, your perspective, your character. That's it. Epictetus taught that suffering comes from trying to control what isn't yours to control. When you're angry because someone didn't behave the way you wanted, you're suffering because you're trying to control them. When you're anxious about outcomes, you're trying to control the future. When you're bothered by what people think of you, you're trying to control their perceptions. Stop. Seriously. Stop trying to manage what you have no power over. It's exhausting, and it's the primary source of inner chaos. Instead, pour your energy into what you actually control. You can't control whether someone respects you, but you can control whether you act with dignity. You can't control whether you get the promotion, but you can control the quality of your work. You can't control whether people like you, but you can control whether you respect yourself. Here's how to practice this. Make 2 columns. In the first, write everything that's currently bothering or angering you. In the second, mark whether each item is within your control or outside it. You'll be shocked by how much energy you're spending on the second category. Now commit to this. Whenever you catch yourself worrying or getting angry about something outside your control, immediately redirect that energy to something within it. This isn't resignation, it's precision. It's placing your power where it actually exists. Master this, and a huge portion of your stress disappears. The 4th habit is practicing negative. The 4th habit is negative visualization, and at first it sounds counterintuitive. The Stoics deliberately imagined worst-case scenarios, not to be pessimistic, but to build emotional resilience and deepen appreciation for what they already had. Here's why this works. Most anger comes from unmet expectations. You expect people to be polite, and when they aren't, you explode. You expect life to be fair, and when it isn't, you feel crushed. You expect things to go smoothly, and when they don't, you fall apart. But what if you began each day by briefly accepting that things might go wrong? What if you spent just 2 minutes considering that you may face difficult people, plans might fail, and unexpected problems could appear, not dwelling on these possibilities, just acknowledging them? Marcus Aurelius would wake up and remind himself that today he would encounter difficult people, frustration and setbacks, and that this was inevitable. Because he had already prepared mentally, these things couldn't shock him. When the difficult person appeared, he wasn't surprised or angry. He was ready. This practice also creates deep gratitude. When you regularly imagine losing what you value, you stop taking it for granted. Imagine your car permanently breaking down, and suddenly you're grateful it still runs. Imagine losing a loved one, and every moment with them becomes precious. Imagine losing your health, and you feel thankful for every breath and every step. Try this tomorrow morning. Spend 3 minutes imagining possible challenges. Someone might be rude, traffic might be unbearable, you might receive bad news. Simply acknowledge these possibilities without catastrophizing. Then when they happen, you won't be blindsided. You'll think, yes, I knew this might occur. That recognition alone completely changes your emotional response. You're not being negative, you're being prepared, and preparation is the antidote to being bothered. When you expect nothing, you can't be disappointed. When you prepare for challenges, they become normal instead of overwhelming. The 5th habit is what the Stoics called the view from above. This is about zooming out and seeing your life, your problems and your provocations from a wider perspective. When someone insults you or something goes wrong, it feels enormous in the moment. It fills your entire awareness. Your anger feels justified because this situation feels like everything. But it isn't everything. It's barely anything. Marcus Aurelius often imagined viewing the world from far above. From that distance, even the Roman Empire was just a tiny speck. Problems that felt massive in daily life became microscopic. The people who irritated him were just a few among billions living briefly on a spinning planet. This isn't about dismissing your feelings, it's about accurate perspective. That argument you had yesterday, in a week, you'll barely remember it. In a year, it will be gone. In 10 years, it might as well never have existed. So why give it the power to ruin your day right now? When something bothers you, immediately zoom out. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Almost always, no. 5 months, still unlikely. 5 days. Now you start to see how small most provocations really are. Take it further. Imagine viewing this moment from space. See yourself as a tiny human on a tiny planet in a vast universe, upset about something that wouldn't even register from that distance. Not to make yourself feel insignificant, but to size the problem correctly. This habit dissolves anger almost instantly. It's hard to stay furious when you realize the issue is cosmically irrelevant. Time will erase it anyway, so stop letting it steal your peace now. The sixth and final habit is embracing strategic solitude. This means recognizing that sometimes the most powerful move is removing yourself from people and situations that repeatedly disturb your peace. The Stoics valued connection, but they understood that not everyone deserves access to your energy. Seneca advised associating with people who improve you. This isn't about isolation, it's about intention. You already know which people and environments drain you. The friend who thrives on drama, the relative who constantly provokes you, the situations that always leave you irritated. You keep engaging, thinking you should be strong enough to handle it, believing that stepping away means failure. But choosing solitude isn't weakness, it's strategy. You are not obligated to expose yourself to constant provocation just to prove resilience. Sometimes the most mature response is non-participation. Marcus Aurelius wrote that nowhere is a person more at peace than within their own soul. Your inner fortress needs quiet time to stay strong. When you're always surrounded by noise, you never repair your defenses. Make solitude a regular practice. Schedule time alone without content, without conversations, without rehearsing problems, just silence. This isn't loneliness, it's restoration. And when it comes to people who repeatedly disturb you, you're allowed to create distance. No announcements, no drama. You simply stop making yourself available and redirect your energy toward those who elevate rather than drain you. This final habit completes the transformation. You've learned to govern your perceptions, pause your reactions, focus on what you control, prepare for challenges, maintain perspective, and protect your peace through withdrawal. You are no longer ruled by external events. You've become unshakable. These 6 habits are the bridge from chaos to calm, from being bothered by everything to being moved by nothing. The Stoics didn't invent them in comfort. They were forged in real hardship, real conflict, and real suffering. They worked then, and they work now. Your anger isn't permanent. Being easily bothered isn't your personality. These are learned patterns, and patterns can be unlearned. Start today with just one habit. Shift your perception, insert a pause, focus on what you control. Change won't happen overnight, but it will happen. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you strengthen that unshakable foundation. The world will keep trying to provoke you. Let it. You're no longer playing that game. You've mastered something far more powerful, yourself. If you're ready to stop being controlled by anger and become sovereign over your mind, leave a comment saying, "I am unshakable." Subscribe to Stoic Mode and turn on notifications. This is only the beginning of your journey toward complete inner freedom. Stay calm, stay powerful.